Right, so only got 3 games to round up this week. The other 3 are going to be played this coming Tuesday, which, for clarification on the date, is going to be the 25th of October. These are the final league games of the season. This is round 5 of 5. This will determine the playoff positions, where people sit, and lock in those standings for touchdowns, completions, and casualties. So, without further ado, in the Raki Kuriko Premier Division, the only game that was not played was the Roaring Juniors versus the Break Your Legs. That game will be played on the 25th, but both the Chaotic Outcasts and the Skull Splitting Sheilas, the Monster Mashers and the Black Spike Feet, did compete and did complete their games. We'll start, as is the top of the list, the Chaotic Outcasts versus the Skull Splitting Sheilas. Interesting game, and it was a good slobber knocker all in. Ended 2-2 on casualties with a death and just a badly hurt on the little stunty bugger of the Chaotic Outcasts. Also, the Chaotic Outcasts did score an impressive touchdown, but the Skull Splitting Sheilas, unfortunate with their agility, and despite the woman disadvantage, managed to score 4 all through Scylla, giving a 4-1 touchdown to a 2-2 CAS victory for the Skull Splitting Sheilas. Impressive result, all in all, and a good fight from the Chaotic Outcasts, who were staring down the barrel of relegation. And after that result, as you can see from the updated table, are guaranteed to go down in the wooden spoon contention. The Monster Mashers versus the Black Spike Feet, another very, very well fought match. I don't remember the report from the casualties. All I do know is it is a 2-1 victory for the Black Spike Feet. The game was blown early by the referee, and it was reported it may have had the possibility to become 3-1, but if the ref calls time on the game, there is nothing more to be done. The coaches did not arrange to play and finish off the rest of their game, so the game has successfully concluded as 2, leaving Black Spike Feet top of the table as they were last week. And Sam, your Monster Mashers, my dear boy, are seemingly and forever locked in to the relegation playoff. Meaning, Adam, your team that was in the driver's seat of this relegation battle, you have successfully escaped without playing. Thanks to both teams underneath you underperforming in their results, it means now it is mathematically impossible for them to catch. So, as we can look at the table, with the Break Your Legs and the Roaring Juniors smack bang in the middle of the table, it is impossible for the Break Your Legs to catch the Amazons and take second, but they could slip and go down to 4th with a victory from the Roaring Juniors. So, the mid-table standoff is all to play for. The winner, or in the case of a draw, could very well decide where things are standing. It is contested. But we'll move forward. So let's have a look at the top scoring chart for the Raki Kuriko Premier Division, as things are still yet to change slightly, bear this in mind. Top of the table is Scylla of the Skull Splitting Sheilas on 10 touchdowns, far less than the scoring charts from last season where we had 2 people in the 20s. More half of the Black Spike Feet on 7, up to no good of the Chaotic Outcasts relegated on 4. Worst Boy of the Roaring Juniors on 3, Ashabar of the Black Spike Feet on 2, Bad Boy of the Roaring Juniors on 2, Jesse of the Monster Mashers on 2, and we have Habhack of the Black Spike Feet on 1, JD of the Break Your Legs 1, Yavert of the Break Your Legs 1, Mike Hunt of the KKCast 1, Mr. Smee of the Monster Mashers, Sophie of the Skull Splitting Sheilas, Uznavi of the Break Your Legs 1. Moving on to the passes, we have Sheila of the Skull Splitting Sheilas on 6, G.O.A.T of the Break Your Legs on 1. Shady Guy and Smash and Grab of the KDK cast 1. Sophie of the Skull Splitting Sheilas 1. And Worst Boy of the Roaring Juniors 1. Not a passing league, but both divisions, Raki Kruko Primera and the Lilly-May Segunda, have prided themselves on being extremely dashy. Although, when we get to the Lilly-May Segunda, there has been some interesting plays being made there, and I'll show you when we get there. Going to the CAS table. I will only name those on 2 and more, and then I will scroll for the rest. Ashibar of the Black Spike Feet on 7. Cinderbreath of the Black Spike Feet on 4. Jean Valjean of the Break Your Legs, 4. Clayface of the Monster Mashers, 3. Bazarak and Baharaka and Drazhoth of the Black Spike Feet all on 2. Hitting You of the KDK cast 2. G.O.A.T of the Break Your Legs and Musafa all on 2. Plankton of the Monster Mashers 2. Sandra of the Skull Splitting Sheilas 2. Sirloin and Smash and Grab making another appearance on 2. And we also have Worst Boy of the Roaring Juniors on 2. And as you can see, scrolling through, we have Astagoth, Audrey, Bigger Steve, Captain Seaman, Donkey, Gaston, Gorhov, Hopper, Jack Sheet, Jesse, Mr. Smee, Sakura, Sandman, Shady Guy, Scylla, Simone, Suki, and Tiny Frank. Going now to the Lilly-May Segunda Division. Only one game was played, and that was Tentacle Zaros versus the Hairy Rainbows. And it was a 2-0 victory to Tentacle Zaros, but holy shit, they didn't go without a fight. It was 5-1 on casualties to the Hairy Rainbows. Tentacle Zaros team won, but at what cost? It was a very, very well improved season by Tom for the Hairy Rainbows, and honestly, dude, it's well done. Last season was brutal. You suffered a lot of casualties, a lot of touchdowns. You didn't win except the concede. But this time, you managed to get yourself a draw against, if I remember right, the Badlam Blackhawks, also nearing you in the league table. And there was a couple of times where realistically you could have got better results. You did a good work showing in the cup. But it is where it is. Looking at the table, you can see still to play and already champions. We have the Memento Moris. And now, after the 5th game, we have the Tentacles R Us team in the promotion playoff spot on 17 points. However, it would seem that unless it is impossible for Lee's team to maintain the playoffs, they could, if results go horrifically wrong, fall as low as 5th. And if Nigel's team is to win by a large touchdown contingency, they will eventually go up on touchdown difference. Even if a draw is to happen, the Blue Shorts boys and Hodgepodge Villains, the Hodgepodge Villains would retake their playoff spot. But if the Blue Shorts boys manage to get a victory, they would go to 20 points and put themselves in 2nd place. So, unfortunately, regardless of results, Lee, you cannot hold on to that relegation promotion playoff. It's not relegation for you. But it is still a very good season, and it will be interesting to see who gets promoted. Because I do think, personally, given the experience and given the uphill battle playing as halflings already as it is, I would expect, given they only need a draw, not necessarily a win, Hodgepodge Villains may come out on top, but Benny's playing Orcs. We know how vicious Orcs can be, and that can prove all the edge you need in this situation. So, it'll be a case of, will casualties stack up and then cause overrun on the pitch, or will the halflings hold out and potentially make plays on the day? See, aren't we? Let's go and have a look at their table and their standings so far. Top of the scoring charts, we have Quern Butler, the Memento Moris on 7. We have Shufflefoot of the Hodgepodge Villains on 3. Griff Obervold of the Star Players Union on 2. We have Muttley, Scooby of the Tentacosaurus, both on 2. We have Bloom Jr. of the Hairy Rainbows on 1. Dan Snidorf of the Blue Shorts Boys on 1. Fancy of the Tentacosaurus, 1. We have Grizz of the Badlands Blackhawks, 1. We have Johnny Grogden, we have Larry Oleg, and we have Mike Webster, all of the Blue Shorts Boys on 1. Snotsinger of the Badlands Blackhawks on 1. We have Spook of the Tentacosaurus on 1. We have Stella Jr. of the Hairy Rainbows, 1. Moving on now, we have, in the completions, we have TC of the Tentacosaurus on 5. We have Bully Oak Gruv of the Hodgepodge Villains on 1. We have Grill Steak Snick of the Blue Shirts Boys on 1. We have Red Trunk Deeproot and Stubby Weak-Twig, both of the Hodgepodge Villains, all on 1. You notice that there are 3 Freemen that have all got completions. Well, that's because one of them fucking died. Yikes. Into the CAS table, we have top currently, and this is all still to play for, most of the tables without some miraculous gameplay. It looks like they're locked in, but this CAS table, oh, it's tasty. It's tasty, and I'm looking forward to see who will take this home. We have Scooby of the Tentacosaurus on 2. We have Thundersnork of the Badlands Blackhawks on 2. Unfortunately, can no longer overtake as they have played. We have Tinkerbell and Tooth Fairy, both of the Hairy Rainbows, on 2. We have Adlag, Boar's Blood, and Bedwig Hog of the Memento Moris on 1. We have Benny, Choo Choo, and Daffin, all of the Dinosaurs on 1. They can no longer take over. But as it stands, if no one gets any casualties, despite already playing Scooby, he's going to take it away. On what? On 2. Sorry, not 1. We have Dream Ground of the Blue Shirts Boys on 1. We have Estan Bender, the Memento Moris on 1. We have Grahamton Stabbin of the Blue Shirts Boys on 1. Griff Oberwald of the Star Players Union on 1. We have Helms Nut of the Badlands Blackhawks on 1. We have Huckleberry of the Tentacosaurus on 1. We have Musa and Roxy Jr. of the Hairy Rainbows on 1. We have Selwyn Kisser of the Memento Moris on 1. We have Slays Krulish of the Blue Shorts Boys on 1. And picking up the bottom of the table on alphabetical is Thundershirk and Treadfoot of the Badlands Blackhawks, all on. Looking at the table, Tentacosaurus and Hairy Faries have all completed their games and sit on 2. Realistically, if Nigel of the Badlands Blackhawks can get a casualty dealt with Thundersnork, putting him on 3, it would require other coaches to get 2 casualties in a single game on a single player to even equal, and depending on alphabet, overtake. It is honestly very, very close. Excuse me. If no casualties happen, it's going to Lee. Nigel has it in his hands to potentially win it outright on 3. But given the lack of casualties in this entire league, I don't predict someone going absolute AWOL on a pitch and wrecking house. It could very well be this is a table between Lee and Nigel, and this is about Lee praying to Nuffle that Nigel don't get some good luck. So, I think it's going to be very, very good. So, to obviously wrap up, going back to the Primera Division a moment on its table, as you can see, the G.O.A.T cast are officially relegated, with Sam, your Monster Mashers, officially going into the You Can Do It playoffs. Going back to the Segunda, taking the G.O.A.T cast place will be the Dwarven team of the Memento Moris, or at least the coach of, depending if he chooses to re-roster the Memento Moris or coach a new team, be it Dwarfs or else other things. In terms of playoffs going up, it is going to be between the Hodgepodge Villains and the Blue Shorts Boys. Win, lose, or draw, one of those teams is going into that playoff spot. Unfortunately, the Badlands Blackhawks cannot catch, even with a victory. Wait. No, because even with a defeat, the Blue Shirts boys would overtake. Even with a draw, doesn't matter. Because they would be on 17, and a draw, the Hodgepodge Villains would put them on 19. A victory for the Blue Shirts boys would put them on 20. It is insurmountable. So, hopefully, next week, I will be reporting who finishes those playoff spots, and then we will be going into very well. I appreciate everyone for watching. This is a longer video than normal, but that's okay. See you guys next week.